How's it going, guys? So today in the PhantomCave YouTube channel, we're going to be having a look at Giantsize Phantom number 15, 100 pages of retro goodness. So let's get into it, and I hope you enjoy this review of Giantsize Phantom number 15. I can't really believe that we're actually up to number 15 with the last actual series. The original series in 1950 got, I think, 25 or 26 issues published. So today we have the stories of Bandar, Betrayers, Deep Dive Part 3. You can check out the other videos for that. And plus it also has a what's been going on in those parts. The Raven number 8, there's only 2 issues of that original series left by Paul Willihan. The Other Arsenal, Further Scorpius Apology, writing and art by Shane Foley. Sir Falcon, Blood in Her Eyes, Part 3, and I think Part 4. And The Phantom Ranger, Episode 5, Justice is Done. And one of the artists in that one, we all know who it is. And hopefully you do know who it is, because I reckon it's Feldman. I reckon it's Romando Feldman. So I'm guessing his type name is Zamyor, but I reckon it's Feldman. So the first actual story we've got today is the Bandar Betrayers. It's a 1970 short story of a Charlton 1970s story. And most of these stories, before they actually got like Don Newton, the new sort of news stories that were coming out by Charlton, we actually had short stories back in, I think, the 1960s and the 1970s of when these Charlton stories were actually coming out. And a good thing about the Charlton stories, it delves into other sort of areas of the Phantom that we don't actually know too much about. Like, it's like a what if, what would happen if the Bandars had turned against the Phantom. And this is what the Phantom comics is all about. The artwork is made to make you think that it's bigger than what it actually is. A lot of the times when they say the artwork, it's usually bigger than what it actually is. And that's a lot of people when they read these Charlton stories. They may be cheap when they were back in the 1970s or 60s, but Charlton Comics only, I think, it cancelled its Phantom run in, I think, mid-70s or 80s or somewhere in there. But that was because of when Don Newton passed away, and that was not that great. So, and also we actually have a video up here of looking at replicas of Don Newton's artworks and what he had done for Charlton. So in this comic we have the Bandar basically turning against the Phantom, and the only reason for that is because this dreadful plant that we've got on right here, and the Phantom actually destroys it. He is nearly taken over by the scent of it, and he destroys it, and then the Bandar are back to the Phantom side. And in the next sort of story we have the Death Dive Part 3 by Glenn Lubston and art by Glenn Lubston. So it's written by Glenn Lubston and art by Glenn Lubston. This actual part, it was only supposed to be like a 2-part series, but then I was talking to Glenn Lubston when I interviewed him, and he actually said that, and he also said that was on like his Facebook or his Instagram. I don't think he has Instagram, but his Facebook, that Part 3 will be coming out. And the only reason they got in another part to it, because the story wasn't really developed. It was nearly finished, but wasn't developed, and Glenn Ford, his basically greatness, said to Glenn Lubston, just wait until we finish it and then we'll publish the whole like third part. And yeah, but it's a great story. All the 3 parts are great stories, and we'll actually it's basically, it's sort of like one of those old Phantom stories that is like a sequel to it, but then it also has the Shadow, one of my absolute favourite characters. And it's basically, you can check out the other videos up here. I'll have the cards up there, and basically 2 brothers, 2 sons, and some rich people come across basically a rich haul of basically galleons, which is basically gold, retro and old gold that they had found. And a lot of it was because the father to the sons was a bit greedy and he wanted it all to himself, and over the time he killed a few people, and he nearly killed the Phantom and the Shadow. And then we have this person come into the mix, and she nearly kills the father, but the father then thinks he's gotten away with it, but he hasn't. And one of his sons blows up. And yeah. And basically what I was saying is that was my gold. That was our gold. But I spent every day for the last 20 years looking for it. We'd look and look till we ran out of cash. Then we'd head back to port. And that's how they would be able to refund that sort of cash and try and look for it. And then these rich people come along and they actually find it. So it's a good story. I absolutely love it. And good job to Glenn Lubston for actually doing that story and collaborating the Shadow and the Phantom together for it. The next story is a character who is one of my absolute favourites. This character is obviously called the Raven. There's 2 issues more left in the series. It's number 8 of the series, and I'm hoping when the original series just like stops, I'm hoping we get to see some new stories. We've already seen a new Raven and Phantom crossover, but I was not happy with the first part. I wasn't happy. I delved into that up here, and yeah, I wasn't happy in the first part, and then the second part, it was better. It was much better. So in this one we have the Raven's evil brother Sebastian getting in with the wrong hands. He then crashes on a very icy island. He then thinks he's getting surrounded by the dragon army, I think, but eventually the Raven comes and helps him, and in the end the dragon army gets their dragon which Sebastian had stolen, and the 2 police officers were also going to help him, but in the end they all fight, and the Raven comes up against the army, and they tell their story about Sebastian on how he stole their dragon, their sacred dragon, and in the last probably couple of pages the Raven then gets the dragon men to surrender. And then he actually tries and gets the bag, and the Raven actually gets the bag. He hands the sacred dragon over, and we actually have the Dragon Men go back to China. And in issue 9 of the Raven, what is this? The dungeons of the Raven's Court have always been the Raven's secret refuge against the police, the curious and his enemies. In our next issue, we will see what happens when two people are shown the dungeons. One respects his trust, one does not. It's a great yarn in Raven number 9. So, and in the end, the two police officers let Raven go, and we end up with a great story. Now, the next sort of story is an apology from the Scorpius sort of parts. Now, we have the Phantom and the Catman. It's called The Other Arsenal. And you can find the original stories, the first couple parts, in issue of the Giantsize Phantom issues 8, 9, 12, and 13. So So Planet Man arrives on this like warehouse, and he finds tracks. He finds tire tracks, and so the way he has done that, and he actually finds where the princess is. So the princess is working for these people who is basically a terrorist, and they are terrorists. They are old school Phantom characters. We've seen them before, and if you would like to look at all the parts, you can do it up here. I'll put a card up there, and they'll be all good. The Scorpius stories, when they first came out, I was so excited for it, and I think it's quite a good story. I've been loving it. It's art, and it's written by Shane Foley. It has all the Phantom, has Catman, Planet Man, Shadow, and the Raven, I'm pretty sure, and Sir Falcon in it. And basically, we see the princess is taken away into custody, and then the Phantom recognizes what her name is. So yeah, that's a bit of drama going on there. And the next actual issue will be Judgment Day. The next story we have is Sir Falcon, Bleed in Eyes, part 3. And so this story, Sir Falcon is helped by the Red Archer, and she actually helps all the servants basically disappear from this cruel person who thinks that he can get away with this sort of stuff, and the Sir Falcon believes her, and the Red Archer basically saves all the servants and all the slaves that the cruel man had employed, and was not looking after them very well. And basically he gets locked up. They go to a secret hideaway, and Sir Falcon and his mates, the two mateship of Sir Falcon, actually go with the Red Archer, and then the Sir Falcon goes on his own. We're now up to the last ever story, and it is the Phantom Ranger, episode 5, Justice is Done. It's text by R.F. D. Paul and Samuel. Now, what I would like to talk about Samuel's art. Now, I reckon, this is just me, I reckon that Samuel is actually Romando Fellman. And actually, Glenn Ford actually gave a hint that it might be actually Romando Felmane. And I'll be showing a picture up here, right there, right now. And so the Phantom Ranger continues his quest to find out who had murdered his parents. He finds the two murderers. They then die, and one of them is basically a murderer who has been trying to murder or try and fall in love with Belly Star. And then we have the Indians who had been basically mind controlled by this white sorcerer. And the white sorcerer is actually another murderer from who killed Phantom Ranger's parents. So he finds that out. They put up a good fight against the Indians, but 2 people die. No, actually 3 or 4 people die, and they take the Phantom Ranger and Belly Star to the sorcerer. Belly Star is in a bit of trouble, and the Phantom Ranger is in a whole lot of trouble. He's out in the sun, and hopefully, and his horse comes to save him, and he saves Belly Star one-handed. And the guy who actually is the sorcerer is actually the guy who was a second person to who murdered the Phantom Ranger's parents. So yeah, it's a very good story. The first actual part, I think, is in the 2018 annual, and it follows on in the Giantsize Phantom series. So the Phantom is actually having a sale on the mini folio 2. And so the mini folio, I've actually got it, I've framed it, and it's in my room, and usually on the news segments you'll be able to see it in the background. So it's a pretty good set of prints there by Glenn Lubston, and a special signed print by Glenn Lubston. The first 8 prints are the first 8 issues, or the first 7 issues of Giantsize Phantom, excluding number 5, the annual, and then there's an extra signed print made especially for this series. You can order them at www.phantomcomic.com.au, and they are $40. So yeah, we now have the trading cards. Now, I've said this many times on this channel, you can enjoy the Supernova prices without the Supernova. Boxes are $90 each. Packs are $4 each. Cyberry CDs are $30 each. And carton CDs are $40 each. And you can get those available at comic shops, at your local newsagent if they still have them, and at the phantomcomic.com.au website, or phone 0292618122. And if you would like to subscribe to the Phantom Cave YouTube channel, you can do so down below. And as always, subscribe down below and keep on Phantom Caving, and we'll see you next time on the Phantom Cave YouTube channel. See you.